gonna hit the record button. Hopefully this works okay. Perfect. And then as usual, per tradition, we will start with our yay of the day. I'll go first, so you have an extra minute to think about what your yay is. And my yay of the day is I got to spend 2 hours with Maurice this morning. We went for coffee with his wife, Liana, and he toured me around his office for the first time. It is beautiful. Newly renovated. It's everything you could think of that you want in an office is in his office. So thank you, Maurice, for
Thank you.
being the highlight of my day so far. I loved it. It was amazing.
I'm glad we got to do it because it's been 2 years in the making to get this appointment going.
I know. And his office is like 5 to 10 minutes away from my house. So the fact that it's not good. But thank you, Maurice. Do you want to go next, Maurice?
Sure. Yeah, I know. One of my admirers this morning, we had some fruitful discussions this morning. It was really nice to see. But with the sun out there in BC, we can't complain too much about it. Just getting up, and although it was cold, having the sun out today was a win for me anyway.
That's right. We're in our down coats, right?
Yeah.
And Deb, do you have any yay of the day?
Well, we got 8 inches of snow this week, so it was a very snowy storm, and our kids went back to school today, so I got some time to catch up on my work and take some time for myself as well, because it's Friday and I usually do that. So that's my yay for the day.
Oh, nice. And congratulations on starting your study club for hygiene, right?
Yes, I'm very excited about that.
Good. Awesome. And Laura.
Oh, yeah. And I was like, well, I get to.
Absolutely.
We had the same storm as Deb, but we got ice instead.
Oh,
and Deb, doesn't it feel like there's been like no school for the last 2 months? Like it's just, there's been so many cancellations, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we had an ice storm. And so today everything is melting, and I've had a bunch of wildlife in my backyard. Turkey, I saw 5 turkey and like 10 deer and an owl.
Yeah.
So,
oh my gosh.
That's pretty neat.
That's nice.
Yeah, that is cool.
And then we have one other person, but you're still muted. Do you want to hear anything, or are you unable to get audio? I'll assume maybe they're just viewing. All right. Well, today we're really lucky to have Dr. Laura join us from Iowa. And I have to thank my husband for connecting us, because he actually was the one that saw you online and said, you need to connect with her. She's awesome. So thank you so much for being our speaker today. I'm really excited to learn about your insight and how you are able to communicate in your team, and also make everyone feel welcome in your office, and hopefully we'll pick up some of those skills that you have so that we can bring them to our own practice. So.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have a nice small group here, because this is a workshop, not a lecture, meaning we talk to each other during this hour. And by the way, what time do you want me to be done, Monica?
We go for an hour. So if you want to have questions during it, we can do that, or you want to leave a few minutes at the end to ask questions, we can do that too. So, but we sign out at 2, or so I should say at the end of the hour, because it's not 2:00 where you are.
That's true. It's not. Yeah. Okay. So, I just want to encourage you all who are here, and those who don't have their cameras on, we'd love to see your faces, because participation is what makes this workshop awesome. And I've never used Ring before, so you all might have to watch me struggle for a bit while I get my slides up. So I'll just talk amongst yourselves for a minute while I...
That's okay, Laura. I've used Ring several times, and I probably struggle every time.
Okay. Well, that's very reassuring. I appreciate that, Monica. Okay.
It's all good.
I guess I have to... Wait, did I... Sorry. Okay, so I have to press share.
Yeah.
Right? And then, And then I'm just talking myself through this. Like, this is fine, right? The only thing is I can't see you guys.
Ah, okay.
I want to be able to see you. Can you see my face right now?
Yeah, Laura, on the top right hand corner, there's a drop down there that says form strip, speaker, or gallery. You're probably in the speaker view there. If you change the gallery, you should be able to get the faces on the right hand side of your screen.
And can you still see me? My sharing right now?
Yes.
We
I
can see
think
you
it's
and
because okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Okay, sorry. Thanks, guys. I think I'm gonna have to toggle back and forth because I don't understand how to share my slides and see your faces at the same time. But it's okay.
Yeah.
Because if you wait. So you guys can see right now, you can see this slide that says Dr. Laura Mach, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. So if I press slideshow like this, and then I go, okay, it's working.
Perfect.
Got it.
You can see my face and you can see this slide, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm Dr. Laura Mach. Nice to meet you. We have an extra person, an extra face here. Guido. Hi.
Hello there.
Nice to meet you. So are
Nice to
you
see
a dental office manager too?
I am, yeah. So I got the invitation from Words. I'm happy that I can join you for this study
Yeah,
club.
good. That's great for joining us. We were connected, the two of us were connected by a mutual CDA. The CDA that worked for me is now working with him, and she
That's
connected the
true.
two of us and said, "Hey, we can work together. We battle the same battles."
Okay.
Yeah, I've been
Amazing.
following Monica's work in LinkedIn, but actually, right now I ended up here. I'm very happy.
Great.
Welcome. We're glad to have you, Guido.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about communication in the dental office. And basically, you know how there's like the front and the back, and there's blah, 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 blah. And sometimes it's like, well, the hygienist never helped with the thing, or the dental office manager isn't sending the codes in right, or the claims or whatever. And like there's like teams, right?
Yeah.
Where we don't quite all get along. And then things go wrong throughout the day. Maybe there's a patient complaining or a dental assistant has a sick baby or whatever. And then all of a sudden it just kind of like falls apart and we end up being so stressed. So that's a little bit, I'm setting that up. And now I'm going to back up for a minute and tell you a little bit about me and how I came to lecture about this. Okay. Oh, and I see another face with a blue hoodie. Hello. Can you turn on your microphone? What's your name?
Carrie?
Karen?
Carrie.
Okay. Very nice to meet you. And we have Ellen here too. This is excellent because this is a circle of safety here. We're going to be talking and sharing, and I'm just happy to know each of you and encourage you to speak up as we're going through this. Okay. All right. So I'm Laura and I'm a general dentist. Before I went to dental school, I was a dental assistant and a mom. So when we're talking about the dental team, what I want to say is I have been in a lot of the different roles. This lecture today, this workshop we're doing today is a little bit unique for me because I usually talk to either only dentists or the entire team. But you all have a very unique position because you're kind of you're the managers and you're kind of stuck in the middle, aren't you? Is that true? Like you've got the dentist going, well, this is how I want to do it. And then you've got the employees going, we don't like that. Or does that sound about right? Okay.
Yeah.
So this will present some unique brainstorming today when we talk about what's hard. and stuff. This is going to be fun. So anyway, I've had all these different roles because first I was an assistant, then I was a dental student, and then I graduated and almost immediately bought my practice. And I've owned my practice now for 15 years. I've actually never had an office manager. Well, I did for about a year. It was not successful. So maybe you all can teach me a little bit better about how to do that. And about 4 years ago, I became a certified life coach. So the coaching that I do is always for women who own their dental practices, but then also I do this speaking to help with these issues that have to do with our emotions. And I will tell you that you cannot separate the emotions from what your employees are doing. And you'll see that more as we go. How your employees feel matters. You cannot just give them a to-do list and expect them to do it. They are going to do what their body is telling them to do because they are an organism that nature made. And that's what we get into with this life coaching, is figuring out where those emotions came from and how to feel the emotions we want to feel and how to present the way we want to the people around us so that we can be the effective leaders that we want to be and not be letting our brain take us for a scarcity ride where we lose our temper or we give off angsty vibes or whatever when we're either talking to our employees or our dentist. Does any of this sound familiar? Does this happen to you guys sometimes? Okay, all right. It's not just me. Okay, so our lecture today is called More Than a Feeling because it all starts with how we're feeling. We don't talk about this at all, and yet by the end of the lecture, you'll see just how important it is. And I'm thinking that this will probably help you all too as your role as an office manager. When you see how you're feeling, so not just the employees or the dentist, but when you're seeing how you're feeling, it will help you to show up in the way that you intend to, in the way you want to for the practice that you work for. So let's do some brainstorming. This is always fun. I want to hear why you all think that communication in the dental office is difficult. So let's go around the room. I'm not going to call on people yet, unless nobody says anything, then I will. So I want to hear from each of you why you think it's so hard to communicate well in the dental office.
I think one of the first things is we're kind of segregated. There's the clinical side and the administrative side. And a lot of the communication breaks down somewhere in the middle. So it's when you're passing the baton or the patient over, that brief moment is really important to share the information from one to the other. And then there's always the interpretation of the information as well.
Yeah.
Like a really bad game of telephone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's complicated and there's feelings involved too, not just with you guys, but also the patients, right? They're getting passed off.
Yeah.
And then the clinical side understands some things really well, and then the administrative side understands other things really well, and getting that all to mesh can be really challenging.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, who else has something to say?
I think, Laura, we are natural self-centered human beings, all of us naturally. And in a dental office, to make a dental office work, you unfortunately have to work like the gears in a watch all together. And having that self-centeredness in a group situation like that is not always natural. So you have to work against your natural feeling to cooperate with the people around you. And that's where communication is that bridge that's needed there. And it's not the natural thing for us to do.
Tell me again what's not natural. It's not natural to put the team first.
Yeah.
Okay.
We would work with a team. You would work in a team to satisfy your own needs. Or a lot of people do that, and doesn't see always the team's perspective. But if I'm happy, then yes, I'll be happy within the team. But if I'm not happy, then I don't care about the team. I'm going to do whatever to make myself happy.
That's probably the underlying attitude behind when you hear someone say, "Well, that's not my job."
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't hired to do that.
If I may say, From my standpoint, I like to see that our position is kind of critical as you work as a liaison between the front end and the clinical team. And there's a lot of factors involved. I would say expectations might be different. And depending on the culture, you have a little bit of slightly blaming mindset as well that can get in the way. It is challenging, I can say. There's always a new nuance that's happening between my team is not a very good, very big team. It's 10 people, but they're all different people with very important roles. They play all important roles, but get them to envision and to work along towards the same goal. It's sometimes challenging.
It is. So you've got all those different personalities, and then we've got the defensiveness, like we've got people who are blaming each other, right? And yeah, all the different roles that they play, which are each important. It's a challenge. And in the middle of that, there's patients and they're awake and they're watching you, right?
Listen to you.
Exactly what you're doing. Yeah. Okay. Who else has something? What else is hard?
I have to be careful when I share it, because my boss is sitting right there. She's my wife as well, so it's not that easy.
Okay.
Now, I think it's different personalities in a closed setting together, and to have all of that gel and work together. The way I perceive something or understand something is different than the person next to me. So that's also the challenge.
Yeah. How about the fact that the dentist, who is the owner or the head, is the head technician and never really intended to be a manager in the first place? Like, how many people said, I went to dental school because I wanted to be a good manager?
Nope.
It's not really like, and so then if the practice is successful, they're with patients, right? They're not spending time doing management things. That for me, that's a big one.
Yeah.
And I know Maritza and I were talking this morning about different personalities in the office, and understanding people's personality or communication style helps in the communication, because you understand where they're coming from or what their perspective is. So we were talking about taking the personality test to be able to better work as a team once you understand more about the person.
I think too, listening and hearing are important things that we all do differently, and some of us are better at that than others.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're two different things too. Like, you might hear something somebody says, but you might not be listening like attentively to like maybe their body posture or their tone of voice. So there's different levels of communicating as well.
I love that answer. And also, Deb, I would say that the way we listen has to do a lot with how we are feeling when the person is talking, right? So if they're saying something that makes us feel like we need to protect ourselves, then we're coming up with replies instead of hearing what they're really saying, right? Or we're making excuses or getting ready to do the blame game with the finger pointing while they're talking. And the thing is that the universal truth in the dental office is that there's always going to be at least a little bit of chaos. There's always going to be something that goes wrong. And if we've all got our defenses up because just don't want to get blamed for it, then we never get to the root of the problem and really be able to talk about how to solve it in a way that's not hurting anybody's feelings, but is just talking about solutions. It's hard to get people into a place where they're not feeling defensive. Am I right? Yeah. Like, how do you get that where they're actually just listening to you to solve the problem and not to protect themselves? So we're going to talk about that today. Okay. Anybody else have a burning contribution before we continue this workshop? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on a principle, a life coaching tool called the model. And the model was developed by Brooke Castillo. She is the founder of the Life Coach School and the host of the Life Coach School podcast. And she is the person that I learned my life coaching tools from. And the model is basically just a way to analyze any situation and our reaction to it. Okay, so we can think of some challenging situations that we've run into in our own dental practices. And what we can do is use the model to piece it apart until we really understand, well, why did I act like an asshole when that happened? Or why did the assistant know what she was supposed to do, but completely disregarded it? Or why did my patient act in this certain way? I had one not that long ago. She's this loyal patient who I've seen for like 10 years. She's so nervous. And I just baby her through the whole thing. And we just recently went out of network with her insurance, and she went ballistic when she got her check back from the insurance, which actually wasn't a check. It was for $0.00. Unfortunately, because she has this out of network deductible that we didn't know about. And she like threatened to send me to the board and like call the news and stuff. And like, it's just like, why are you acting like this after all of these things? So that's what we're going to be talking. We're going to use the model to figure out why we or somebody else is acting the way they're acting. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I want to do is I want to break down the different components of the model. And I just want to warn you, if you've listened to Brooke Castillo before, some of these I have renamed just for my own purposes. Are there any Brooke Castillo fans on here? Okay, so if you really enjoy this workshop today, her podcast is a really good one to check out. I have one too. It's just called Love Your Practice. And I'm speaking to female dentists in my podcast, but if you're a practice manager, you're going to identify with 99% of the stuff that I'm talking about on there. Okay. So we have these different components of the model. And the first one is just called the facts, or facts of the situation. Basically, as we're working through, the way we define that first line is that we're going to write down what is happening in a short sentence or a sentence fragment even that's completely neutral and measurable. So like if I were in a court of law and I said a fact line from the model, the defense and the prosecution would both agree with me because it's facts. It's like, this is how much this weighed, or this is the date that I bought the practice, or the day that I was hired to be the office manager, or these are the words that somebody said. And what's interesting, if you think about, boy, my chair is really squeaky, isn't it? Mm-hmm. If you think about you as an organism, or your employee as an organism, you think about the tissues that our body is made of. We have our skin, our muscles, our bones, our blood, our heart, and up here we have our brain. Okay. And so what happens is our brain is bringing in the data from our sensory organs. I can see the sky looks white and gray outside. Okay. And so my brain says that's a cloudy sky. My brain is interpreting the data that's coming in. I can see this green straw and I can taste the water if I put it in my mouth, right? And your brain's job, it's like, blah, 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 blah. It's processing all this stuff. And its job is to make meaning from what your rods and cones are bringing in and your olfactory senses and your touch. And the brain goes, okay, we're filtering this information. This is a lot of data. Is this information good for survival or bad for survival? Okay. So this interpretation of the facts moves us to the next line of the model, which is thoughts. Okay, so the thoughts are the sentences in our minds that help us understand what is happening in the world around us. So I can look up at this cloudy sky and I could go, I hate clouds. I miss the sun. Or I can go, oh, good. Since it's cloudy, it won't be as cold tonight. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but when the sky is clear, right, it gets a lot colder in the winter time. And these thoughts, we have thoughts in our dental practices. So we might have a thought like, oh my gosh, here we go again. The dentist wants one thing and the employees want another thing. Does that sound familiar? Or here goes Susie. She's calling in sick again for the 4th time this month. I mean, each of you probably has at least 10,000 thoughts a day about your dental practices and your employees that you manage and the people that you answer to in your thing, but in your job. But here's the thing that's different than facts. Thoughts, unlike facts, are interpretations, so they are voluntary, which means you can change a thought. You can't change the facts, but you can change a thought. And that's important because when we go to looking at how we intentionally want to show up for things, sometimes what we'll do is we'll look at our thoughts and we'll work on changing those. Okay? So lots of things that we can think in our minds. And those are thoughts. And so what's interesting, though, is that our thoughts always create an emotion from a biological perspective. So we're back to looking at ourselves as organisms, okay? And our emotions are simply vibrations that go through our body that are made from our nervous system and our hormones. And so they're just physical sensations that we feel that we have learned have meanings. And these emotions were actually put into our system, like they're in our DNA. Like you see something scary and your body knows to squirt out adrenaline from the adrenal glands, right? Like it's kind of cool, but your body can send you signals in emotions. And what emotions are, it's their behavioral cues. They tell us how to behave. So our thoughts interpret the data, and then our body makes an emotion to tell us how to act. Are you with me? Okay. Any questions so far? We're good. All right. In the model, what we do after we identify how we are feeling, we name the emotion, and then we figure out what actions we took from that emotion. So let's say I felt scared. I said, the adrenals pump out the adrenaline, right? If I'm at work and maybe a patient's complaining to me, and then I get scared because I don't want somebody to be mad at me, that's going to affect how I treat them as a patient, right? Or also how I talk to my office manager, which I don't have, I wish I did, or my assistants or my hygienist, is that these emotions affect how we act. For example, and we're going to get more into this later, if you correct an employee and then they're feeling unappreciated, how do you think that's going to affect how they act at work that day? You might see some huffing and some puffing, or they might not. When they answer the phone, they're like, Marion Dental, what do you want? Or they might complain to their coworkers, right? So this emotion of feeling unappreciated makes you act in a certain way, just like any other emotion does. And in our society, we tend to sort of ignore our emotions. We like to pretend we're not feeling anything at all. So we learned how to name them when we were like 2, 3, 4, 5. But then we're like on autopilot. We're not really paying attention to it anymore. And I'm bringing you back because I want you to start thinking about your feelings, because it really does affect how you act in your job and how your people act. So that's your actions. Okay. So this is what we're looking at with the model. We've got the facts of the situation, which is the input that we're getting. that lead to our thoughts, which is our interpretation of the data, and that the thoughts create emotions, and the emotions tell us what to do. Okay. And that's the model in and of itself. And what I'd like to do is show you an example. Now, when I'm on this screen right here, is my slide teeny tiny for you like it is for me, or can you read what's on there?
I can read it.
I can read
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I've done here is I've made a model, and it's of me being at a baby shower with my sister's baby. Okay, so I'm pretending that my sister had a baby, and so it's time to open the present, and my sister's been eating her snack or whatever. She's got the baby, and she's going to open the present. So she comes over and she puts the baby in my arms. So this is like my brand new niece or nephew. Okay. And I'm just going to turn this into a model so you can see how all the pieces fit together. Okay. So I want to put in the fact line, I want to say something very succinct and neutral. So everybody could agree that I am holding the baby. Okay. I'm not going to say anything super cute and squishy on that first line. I'm just holding a baby. Okay. And then my mind sees the baby, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to love and take care of this baby. It's so amazing. And I'm, looking at the different body parts and stuff, and I'm, the tiny little feet, the toes and stuff. And I'm just loving this baby. And I'm feeling the love because I'm thinking about how amazing this baby is. And when I feel the love, then it just makes sense that nature put this love feeling in my body, right? Because then I am motivated to take care of the baby, to rock it and bounce it, maybe give it a binky and tell everybody else how amazing the baby smells and how great it is to have the baby. Okay. So I just want to double check with you. Can you see how one thing leads to the next? And this is how the model works. Yes? Okay. I'm seeing heads nod. That's good. Okay. Now here's one from a dentist's perspective. So I have like this made up story that I tell with this one. So I'm pretending this is me. Okay. And I have felt this way so many times before I got out of network with dental insurance companies. But so I'm having a busy day. Maybe I just finished pulling a number 2. Oh, you guys don't use number 2s, do you? Let's see. That would be, I don't know. I don't remember how you number your teeth in Canada. upper maxillary molar. Okay. So like with the 3 roots, and one broke off, and then I had to go digging for it. And meanwhile, I had all these hygiene exams waiting. And finally, I set my equipment down. I take off my gloves because I'm going to hurry over and go do these hygiene exams. And my office manager walks up to me and she goes, oh my gosh, Dr. Laura, look, do you see this EOB? Do you guys know what EOBs are in Canada? Do you have EOBs?
Explanation of benefit?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, we charge X number of dollars for all these class 2s that you did last month. And look how much the dental or the insurance is making us write off. And it's like half, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm trying to remember the thought that I put down. Okay. Yeah. So I thought this so many times when I was in network. I am such a victim here. There is nothing that I can do. I gave my blood, sweat, and tears to those class 2s. Took me all afternoon, and that's all I get. And I'm a victim. Okay. So the fact is the write-off. The fact is the EOB, right? And then I tell myself that I'm a victim. And what's interesting is that I get this violated feeling, like I'm not in control, right? And so then I act like I'm violated. So I get snippy with this office manager. And I'm like, this is so not fair. Didn't you even double check those surfaces before we submitted this? And I'm like in a hurry too. And then I rehearse thoughts of how unfair the insurance company is. So like I go back in my mind and I remember this OB and I remember that OB, and I look at my day sheet and I see how much I wrote off today or last year or whatever. And what's interesting is while I'm feeling violated, what I don't do is say, gee, office manager, thank you so much for showing me this EOB. Let's set aside a time to look at our contract with this insurance and decide if we want to start approaching this a different way. No, you don't do that when you're feeling violated. When you're feeling violated, your body is going to tell you to act in a certain way, and it's not very productive, is it? Okay. So next step, the office manager's perspective. I have another model to show you here so that we get familiar with these different lines of the model. That way we can make our own later on. So same story, except this time it's the office manager, and she or he, I've got 2 male office managers here, which is amazing. They're like clicky, 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 putting in the EOB. They hear the drill stop. They hear the gloves come off. And this office manager has been told explicitly by the dentist, if you see any really bad EOBs, I want you to tell me what you see. Okay. But then they go up and tell the dentist, and instead of the dentist thanking them, the dentist uses like nonverbal blaming languages. So I don't know if maybe there was a finger point in there, like Guido was talking about earlier, or maybe just like a closed off, angry stance. And the dentist says to the office manager, why didn't you even check these surfaces? Right? So that becomes the office manager's fact, is the words that the dentist said to him or her. And then, of course, I mean, what all would you think if your boss said that to you?
Like our feelings would be hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. And I put this one down. I just guessed, but I put, they don't appreciate everything I do for them. They don't even see it. I've been working here this whole time. They asked me to tell them. I told them, and then they lost their temper at me and blamed me for the bad EOB. So if that's what you're thinking, then of course, in your mind, what are you going to be feeling? What's that name of that emotion? I put down unappreciated. Is that an okay one?
Yeah. Not valued.
Unvalued. Yeah. Unseen, unheard, doing all this work, and they're just getting mad at you, right? So then what's going to happen is your actions are going to follow that, right? We talked about that a little earlier. You're going to go back to your desk, think about getting a new job, complain to a coworker or complain at home. And how are you going to answer the phone? And what are you going to do the next time you see a crap EOB? You going to show it to the dentist? I wouldn't. I'd be like, sorry. I'm keeping this to myself. I'm not showing you. You're mean to me when I give you the fact.
I think you put it on their desk at the end of the day and walk away quietly.
Run away. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But can you see how this all started with the dentist believing that they're a victim? They believed they were a victim, and so they felt victimized, and then they acted out. So if this is a dentist or an office manager who has done their homework and who realizes that thoughts are voluntary, they don't have to believe that they're a victim, then that would change the entire outcome, right? Well, let's keep talking. Let's keep moving through this. What I want you to understand is that if we were to take everything that you do in the dental practice in a day and you put it in the model, it would go in the action line. So for office managers, it might be pulling reports, calling past due accounts, following up with your employees, working on the schedule. I mean, I don't have an office manager, so I don't know what you guys do. Paying the bills, right? Looking at the insurance contract, All those things would come in your action line, right? And everything that your employees do would come in their action line for their model, right? So if we have a certain list of things that we want our employees to do, or if we want to act in a certain way, then we need to be monitoring and aware of how we are feeling, since that's what tells us how to act, and therefore what we're thinking, because that's what tells us what to feel. But what we believe is extremely powerful. What we say to ourselves is extremely powerful. And how we say words to our employees is extremely powerful. Are you with me? Okay. It's really interesting because what happens is what we are thinking in our mind becomes real. If we're thinking, I hate this job, we act like we hate this job and it makes the job worse. Or if we're thinking, today is a great day to help someone, then we're going to have a completely different feeling and we're going to make it come true. That's actually something that I tell myself when my schedule falls apart and then it's open. I'll go, I wonder who I can help today. And then I just like wait and see what happens. And maybe I'm going to end up doing development work at my desk. But a lot of times it ends up that something really good pops up.
I love that you say that.
Pardon me?
I love that you say that.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Guido?
Sorry to interject here, but I think you touched on a really interesting point. I myself been trying to the key lies in controlling your emotions. Either you block off some time to work on your non-verbal, I would say non-violent communication, but not also just you. How do you control how you react to that situation that may arise every day? Different things arise, but also how you get your coworker, either the dentist or the CDA that's working along with you in a collaborative way. So, let's the mindset needs to be a solution oriented mindset, and this is something I've been really hard trying to improve on myself, but also on the people you work with.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional control.
Yeah. And it's interesting because it's not like you can say, now I want to feel happy, or I'm going to feel grateful now, even though I'm so pissed, right? But using the model, you can see what made you feel pissed, recognize that it's voluntary, and ask yourself how you would rather feel. And if you're open to believing something new, to thinking about it in a different way. And that's basically what life coaching is. Being aware, helping somebody be aware of what they're thinking so that they can feel something different and act in a different way. And when you're talking to your employees, if you have coached yourself first so that you're feeling grateful or curious or helpful when you talk to them, then you will get a much different reaction than when you talk to them while you're feeling frustrated or exasperated or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is a dentist model revisited. Okay. So we're pretending that this dentist who got the crap EOBs on the class 2s she did, we're pretending that, that she's gone through coaching. Okay. And the office manager comes up and the office manager is, look at this crap EOB. And then the thought, which she has prepared in advance, is, gosh, I'm grateful that my office manager showed me this and I can do something about it because this is my business and I'm not a victim here. Right. And so when I think about me having my own business and that it's mine and it's amazing, then I feel empowered. And when I feel empowered, then I speak to my people in a completely different way than when I'm feeling violated. So I might say to the office manager, thank you so much for showing me this. Can you please get together the reports we need and set aside some time for us to talk about this next week, because maybe we need to get out of this contract. I appreciate you. Okay.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah, it's completely different. And it started with what she was thinking in her mind. She didn't just let her brain take her for a scarcity ride. She said, this brain is mine. I'm going to think about things the way I want to. That's an example of how you can use the model to show up the way you meant to. And you can do this as office managers too. Like it would be a slightly different conversation, right? Let's pretend you're talking to a dental assistant or whatnot. Your thought might not be, this is my practice, but it might be, this is a great job. And it's my position to help these assistants grow in their leadership skills as well. And then, okay, assistant, we've got a leadership thing here. We're going to talk about how to solve this together, because you're not feeling that violated feeling anymore, right? And that changes how she's going to react to you as well. Okay, so this is pretending that the office manager has gotten coaching. So recognizing that the dentist hasn't and still says, well, didn't you check the surfaces thing? But the office manager is all zen, okay? And she's gotten this, or he's gotten this ready in the past. And the office manager thinks to themselves, I think maybe my boss is feeling like their organism needs protecting today. But it's kind of funny, right? Like to think about it that way, but also it's just science. It's just nature, right? Like you can, once you realize that's what people are doing, you can kind of see it in their body language when they feel like they need protecting. And you can look at it and you can be like, yeah, I think they're feeling they need protected. And then that changes your feeling. Instead of feeling unappreciated, maybe you just feel understanding. And then when you're feeling understanding, you can better draw a boundary with your boss later when they're not in the middle of all those hygiene exams. And you can say, I think we need to spend some time talking about this, this, and this. And also, if we're in a tense moment, I don't really think it's necessary for you to throw accusations back at me when we're just both trying to solve a problem. So it's different when you're feeling unappreciated, then you don't solve any problems, right? But if you look at it this way and you feel that understanding and like you want to help your boss, then it changes how you react. All right. So let me now I have to get out of, okay. Now I want you guys to help me with this part. I want you to tell me some of the things that affect team members' feelings. So for example, if they got a good sleep. What else?
If they have to work through their lunch because they have emergencies, that they're not going to be feeling happy.
Yeah, you might be really hungry too. So
Yeah.
feel like it's unfair and be hungry.
If they're feeling like they're running behind and they're not getting the help they need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or they have to run the show by themselves because some of the coworkers didn't show up for work.
That's a good one.
What about like personal issues that they're dealing with that you may not know about?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, can you guys read this?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, good. I can't see what you can see, so that's amazing. How about go ahead.
So not just the session is running late, but in some situations that the dentist had to extend the session, and now we are double booking and we have more patients waiting and they get stressed.
So I could put more patients waiting, pressure on their time.
Yeah, sessions getting extended for, I don't know, let's do one more feeling here, but still running behind it, that happens, right? Sometimes.
How about like office cattiness? Does that ever happen?
No.
Never.
So like What would we call
Yeah.
that?
Just snappy. And someone complains,
Yeah.
they're just snappy. They're wanting help, but instead of asking nicely, they're just like, you're like saying, what you're doing is pointless. I'm busy over here and you're just slacking off in your office. Come out here and help me.
What about like a positive one? Like what about like some positivity in morning meeting? Like if the doc says something positive, then you can notice that like when you're on the floor.
That's good. That's good, Deb.
Yeah.
Or you
Yeah.
get a positive review, a Google review, and you check with your team.
Mm.
Thank you, Deb, for infusing some positivity.
Yeah.
Complaining. Sorry.
Yeah. Or a patient saying thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always liked hearing the hygienist when she just dismissed her patient. I had hygienists always acknowledge them for what they were doing really well. Like
Mm-hmm.
your hygiene care is improving because your gums weren't bleeding as much. You're doing a great job. Just making them feel good.
Yeah.
And welcoming a new patient to your office, like having
Mm-hmm.
someone ready, smiling and greeting them instead of like their head down or on the phone.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. And that makes me want to go back several slides. Let me see if I can. This one. Okay. What she just said, Monica, about the thanking and how that affected the team or the patient's feeling. Listen, everything that your employees do in the office is in the action line. So if your goal is to get your assistants to do something specific, then all you need to do is think about what emotion would cause those assistants to do the thing. Okay. And I will tell you, it's the secret sauce right here. It's all you need to know. Dental assistants and dental hygienists went into that industry because they like helping people. So if you can help them to feel appreciated and helpful, they are most likely going to do the things on the list that you gave them to do. And it's not very hard. It's, wow, I see your effort that you made today. Even when things got, doctor added that filling, but you just stayed in the room. You did exactly what we asked you to. Thank you so much.
It takes a piece of recognition.
Yes.
It's almost like a butterfly effect. Something small can ripple.
It is, because then they'll turn around and they'll be spoiling the patients, because that's what they wanted to do when they pictured themselves being a dental assistant or a dental hygienist. They're like, I want to help people. I want them to say thank you and make a difference in their lives. Right. So the words that you say and how you say them are extremely powerful, way more powerful than you ever realized. And how you say them has to do with how you feel. Everybody's feelings matter. All right, let me get back on track here. We already kind of got to that. How do dental team members want to feel? All right, let's do this one. This is from a unique perspective, since y'all are the managers. What affects the dentist's feelings at work?
The readiness of the team.
Preparedness, yeah.
What was that?
The confidence of the team.
Sure.
Having the schedule booked the way they like. And
Yeah.
things ready. Everything that is in the op that they could possibly need.
Except for a few surprises.
That schedule makes a big difference in what uncoached dentists are thinking in their minds. I will tell you a secret. Every dentist is worried about their practice. They're all worried. No matter how good the numbers look to you, they are
Yeah.
worried.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What about like timeliness of communication from their team?
You mean like hearing back about assignments that were made or what?
Yes, like, well, I was thinking actually about the example you gave. Like, the dentist might want to talk about the EOB, but not like in between patients. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So good timing for problem solving. Yeah, that might not have been the best option for the office manager. Hop up there right after extracting number 2. But I just realized we're almost out of time. Can I keep talking? Is it okay? We've been having such a good time. Went really fast. Let me just look through here and see if there's any other like super important stuff that I want. Oh, this will be fun. You guys can help me make a couple models in the last couple of minutes. So this is a half-made model, and I need your help finishing it. So the fact of the situation is the dentist insurance write-off for the day. Okay. So let's pretend it's that same gal. She had that giant write-off from the class 2s that she worked all afternoon on. And I'm going to tell you right now, dentists think this all the time. And I know because I coach them. My practice might fail and I don't know what to do. They are literally worried about that. And then they feel that worried feeling. Okay, so what I want you to do is we're going to guess. How does the worried dentist act?
They might lash out or be a little bit more impatient with their team when they feel like they're not working as hard as they should or fulfilling their responsibilities.
Yeah.
And just feel, do you not understand that you need to do this assignment so we have patients in the chair so I can pay you? Just feeling that your employees don't care.
Yeah.
How about that micromanaging word?
Yeah.
They're going to micromanage, which actually makes things worse, but they don't realize it. We're just trying to not die, right?
Yeah.
And what do they not do when they're feeling worried? Can we think of anything that they neglect to do?
Yeah. I would say they're not very positive.
Say positive things.
Yeah, or appreciate. Say things that are appreciation.
And they stop listening. They stop listening because they fill their mind with all sorts of other stuff. So their listening goes down.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would say they were really distracted along that lines, Maurice.
For sure. All right, this is fun. Let's do it again for a model of a confident boss. Okay, so here's me before I got my hair cut. I got 6 employees, and I'm practicing saying this. My team has my back. And so then I feel confident. Okay. Tell me something that I will do if I feel confident.
You'll be ambitious. You'll take on all sorts of treatment.
Probably suggest more treatment, right?
Yeah.
It's good for your bonuses. Oh, you can't see my typing. Sorry. There. What about what I won't do if I'm feeling confident?
Won't worry.
Worry. Micromanage.
Yeah.
What was that? Criticize.
Feel really critical.
Okay, super quick. Here's my employee feeling unappreciated. So fact is, my boss said the words, "You're doing it wrong." And the thought was, my boss doesn't see all the things I do. And then she's feeling unappreciated. How's she going to act?
Complain with the coworkers.
Complain. Yep.
Maybe look for other jobs.
Yeah.
Time wasting.
Waste time. Sure. She don't care. You don't appreciate her. What's she not going to do if she feels unappreciated?
Attention to details.
I missed whatever woman said something.
I said she won't do her 100% 110% effort into our work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's perfect. And now it's 4 o'clock. So we're kind of out of time, but wasn't this fun? It's so
Yeah.
interesting. Oh, before I did the time over to you guys. So I have a free course that is directed towards dentists, but I think you all would really, really like it. It's how to correct an employee using these principles that we were just talking about. So like walking you through how you want to feel first and what we want them to feel and what to say. So if you want to take the course, it's free. You can just use this QR code or you can go to my website. It's loveyourpractice.net and click on the free course. But you can find my podcast there too, loveyourpractice.net.
When did your course take place?
It's asynchronous. So it
Oh,
comes to
okay.
you in email.
Oh, okay.
It's 10 minutes a day for 4 days, and you just print off the sheet that comes with it. And by the time you're done with the course, you are ready to make a correction.
Okay. Oh, that sounds awesome. And we can share this on our social media and platforms.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura.
Now, the course is for anybody who's looking to do it with a little bit more social intelligence, and keeping in mind how important those feelings are.
That's awesome. Thank you, Laura, so much for joining us, Canadians, for your Friday afternoon. And yeah, I'm so glad that we were able to connect. And I will mention to the other members of the group, you should check out Laura's website. I've been on it before, and share it with your dentist or any other colleagues that you think would benefit from it. I know Laura does teach a lot of courses, and I think I might want to have you back again, because I think there's so many things that you offer that we'd love to have you visit us again. So
Yeah, I'm
thank
always
you,
happy to
everyone.
spend an hour with the Canadians. Just moved to Victoria, BC for the first time this year. That was my first time to Canada.
I'm hoping that you're going to be able to come back and speak at our Pacific Dental Conference. I'm going to see what I can do to connect you with them. So thank you, everyone, for attending our study club today. And a special thank you to Laura for presenting, and you did an awesome job, and we're really grateful to have you. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And our next study club is going to be the end of March on the Friday. And you can visit my website, blossomdentalconsulting.com, for the upcoming events. I will send out email and information, and there is a Facebook group as well. So if you haven't joined it, it is available to join. And I appreciate everybody. Have an awesome
Quickly before we turn off there, can the last few people that joined us, they just briefly in a few seconds, just introduce yourself and say where you're from, so that we get to know the people that joined us today as well. Bill there, and Ellen and Kelly there.
Perfect.
Go ahead, Bill.
This is Ellen here. I'm from Evident Care Dental in Maple Ridge.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us, Ellen.
Thank you for having me. It was a great show. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And then Carrie.
Hi, my name is Carrie. I'm from Ottawa, and I'm from Pool Creek Family Dentistry.
Oh, awesome.
Right.
Thank you for joining us from the
That's
East
amazing.
Coast. Awesome. And Guido.
I'm originally from Brazil. I used to be a dentist there. I practiced for 15 years. We moved here 6 years ago, and I'm leaning towards the admin part of a practice. Enjoying it, actually.
Oh, good. I'm
Nice.
glad you could join us. And
Thanks
Bill.
for having me.
Yes, Bill. I'm from Lethbridge, Alberta, and it's nice to be part of this group. It's awesome.
No, we're glad you joined us, Bill. Awesome. And
Nice.
if anyone else has other dental administrators or dental office managers that want to join the group, feel free to share, because it's always nice to have new faces and experiences. And also, if you have ideas or things that you want to discuss in the study club, just let me know. Awesome.
Great job,
All right.
guys. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you, Laura.
Bye bye.
Bye. Aw, thank you so much, Laura.
You're welcome. It was fun. I'm
Yeah.
sorry I didn't talk fast enough, but I think I got the picture.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Have a fabulous weekend. And if you ever want to come back and speak to the group, we would love to have you. That was
All
amazing.
right. Sounds good. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.